Hi, this is Ed back again here with a very quick video now. On the last one, of course, I had a fan problem, but it doesn't matter anyway. I mean, I forgot I had the fan on, so you can't really hear me talking. Now, it doesn't matter anyway, because I'm going to go into some subsequent details. First of all, and we'll reiterate some of the stuff in the last video in a moment, but I'm pretty sure that this footage is fake. Okay, and we'll show you why. Now, pretty sure doesn't mean 100%. Here's some night vision footage from 2013, and this is the US Marine Amphibious Operations, Queensland, Australia. So you can see this here. Now have a look at this particular footage is what they put out on News Nation exclusive. Now this raises many questions. As I said, one of the problems I had in the last video was the nature of this shadow here within the video. The problem I have with the shadow is this doesn't really make any sense. It's too clean when you're dealing with a spotlight coming down in this direction, which has to be, or another light source even there to cast a shadow in that direction. It just doesn't make any sense why it looks like that, unless there's another light source other than the helicopter. Another question is raised. You know, if there's a light source here being projected down, which is casting shadows, then why are they using night vision, right? But here's the issue. So let's go back and have a look at the footage. I've got it side by side here now with night vision footage, as you can see here. So look at the difference in it. So the footage that you can see playing, I just paused the other footage, but this footage you can see playing on the left is actual real footage, and that is taken from that operation in 2013. If anything, I believe they're claiming that this particular footage with the egg is maybe older, right? Why does it look so completely different? This is using some phosphorus system or something in order to get night vision. Look at the shadows, right? Look at the shadows and how kind of like thick and dark they are and kind of messy, right? That's night vision, right? And look at the other shadows in the other picture. I mean, it just kind of, it doesn't seem real, okay? Look at how everything looks in this particular footage. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Now, in the other footage, they might be using some light, right, to shine down on the object. But if they're using a light, why are they running night vision? There's just so many things that don't make any sense, okay? And the other thing I said in the other video still stands. It's too bright. Look at how bright this is. And look at how you note on the night vision footage, you have all these speckles. I'll blow this up a minute, but you'll be able to see all these kind of speckles throughout it. And you can kind of see it there. There's these little white like speckles everywhere if you can see them. This is how the technology works, right? It's an artifact of the technology itself. It's a marker of the technology, and you don't see any of that in this particular footage at all. It's just clean, like someone's ran a filter over it and they're just recording something which they're recording on their driveway, right, with an egg. I mean, look, I've seen people that say they're in outer space and you can hear actual bubbles, right? I'm not saying all the space footage is fake, but I mean, it gets to this point, whereas if you're going to fake it at one level, why not fake it at every level? Right? Are you supposed to believe that particular footage of Joe Biden walking in front of the microphones when his hand's going through the microphones is real? Are you supposed to suspend your belief to that kind of level? And if you're doing it at that level, why not do it at every other level? So does this look like the same footage? Let's let the other one on the other side run in regarding that. I'll just turn down the actual volume on that one as well. And you let it run and you can see the footage there running now side by side. And you can see those speckles there you see on the left-hand side throughout it, right? That's a really good example of the speckles, or those little speckly patterns, which is caused by the technology, the way that it uses chemical technology on the phosphorus or whatever, however it works. It was used originally for, you know, underwater. Night vision was actually used originally for underwater operations, but then of course you can see the usefulness of it. Now this is using this particular technology. Now I ran this through, I took it and then I ran it through the AI model, which I'll show you in a moment, but that AI model, which was the Google one, said that it seemed that there was anomalies with it, and now I'll show you what Claude had to say about it as well. You see that speckly pattern? Non-existent in the video from the right. Doesn't exist at all. Okay, it just doesn't seem. There's something wrong with this, in my opinion. Of course, other people might know the technology better than me. Now, I asked Claude, if you're wondering why I blurred out my question, you can go ask it to confirm it if you think that. The reason why is I typed so fast, I had all these spelling mistakes in it and already embarrassed myself enough, so I don't intend on embarrassing myself further if I can help it. Of course, you can go second check all this information yourself, do your own research. But when analysing the images, Claude said several aspects of the footage raise questions about the authenticity. The night vision colouring appears unnaturally intense green. Military professional night vision typically shows more subtle gradients. The sharp shadow casting are inconsistent with how night vision technology works. It usually shows light differences more diffusely. And you can see that in the video I just played. It's very dark, and the edges are very kind of like blanketed, right? You can see that in that particular footage of the armored personnel carriers moving there along the beach, or those amphibious carriers, having both night vision and visible light source as evident by the sharp shadows is contradictory. Night vision is used specifically when there isn't adequate lighting. So, right, I mean, look at this. Look at the shadow. Look at the line on that shadow. And this line on the shadow pretty much seems to run constant over a ground which seems to be some kind of rocky terrain. I actually think that this is filmed on a driveway. I actually do think that this is actually an egg, and this is filmed probably on a driveway. And this cable you're seeing there is just basically held up above. Maybe it's nighttime. I mean, you can make anything nighttime if you want to throw a tent over at night, right? And then you've got your little operation running in the driveway. I've just seen too much of this stuff. I just don't believe it. I really don't believe it now. Honestly, I think it's fabricated. Won't say 100%, but it looks pretty fabricated to me. Of course, make up your own mind. But look at that shadow there, as I stated in the last video. Let's go back to what Claude was saying anyway. And again, check this yourself. Throw a screenshot in there and listen to Ask the AI questions. Not saying it's always correct. It gets things wrong. But do our eye, is there that much difference? I mean, look at the two. I mean, they're so different, right? The cable appears to be too cleanly defined for night vision footage, which typically shows less distinct edges, right? Less distinct edges. Let's go back to the actual footage itself. Look at this, right? Look at this footage and the edges you see. I just run, look at this here. Look at the shadows there. Look at how diffused they are around the sides and how dark they are. Now, they don't have a spotlight operating, which again is another anomaly. Why run a spotlight? And what does a spotlight look through night vision? I thought it just blinded everything out. Isn't that what happens? But whatever, if we're just looking at the shadows here, you can see all the shadows and how dark they are, right? So just kind of quite interesting, isn't it? Of course, we can just move that to the center. See, look at it run there. And again, there is that actual footage from the helicopter. And again, where is the speckly pattern that goes over it? People are talking about, of course, rotor wash and things like this. Those are all valid points, but if the claim is made that it's 150 feet, if that's the claim that's being made, then we have to kind of criticize it, I think, from within inside the claims at least, because I don't have any way to prove that it isn't 150 feet away. My suspicion is it's probably like half a foot away. And he just asked his wife or whoever if they had any eggs in the fridge. I don't fault people for this. People like a laugh. I get it. Okay. I'm completely open to the idea. Do we have any eggs in the fridge? We've got one egg and I need it for tomorrow for breakfast. Come on, babe. I just need that egg. Do you have your sewing kit or something? I just need some thread. Bingo. And we'll send this in anonymously. Okay, I'll send it in anonymously. Maybe I'll even throw a few bona fides in there because I served some time in the Navy or the Air Force. I'll throw some bona fides in there. I'll say, please keep me anonymous. Here's my footage. And then me and my friends will have a beer at night, or maybe just me while I'm watching that footage and they're playing it on News Nation. I don't believe any of this. I really don't now. Every time I look closer at these things, there's always something, isn't it? Do we have any? Hey, babe, do we have any eggs? I really need an egg. What do you need an egg for? Trust me. What are you doing in the driveway? Okay, what are you doing in the driveway with, Billy's tent? Don't worry about it. Just go back to sleep. Yeah, suffice it to say, if I don't believe this, I'm not actually going to go on about the 4chan posts. To reiterate, these are what turned up on 4chan the day after, and in my opinion, as I said in the last video, this egg, which is claimed to be another alien object from Antarctica, is an egg, but it could be an egg or another object, and they've just put some plaster around it and then etched some strange symbols in it. There's absolutely nothing in here that would make me think that this is even a real cave. In fact, if you look at the ceiling and how the ceiling is, this looks manufactured to me. Is this the way that rock formations? Is this the way that rock formations appear? Well, they can, but like this looks like the curvature on some of these small protrusions here looks too thin and rounded. I know that there's stalactites and stuff like this, but these here look completely unusual. Stalactites are formulated from a calcium deposit over a period of time, which slowly builds the stalactite, right? How I understand it. This here in this formation doesn't look like a formation of a stalactite. It looks like something made out of wax. And this here, you can use some kind of methodology in order to create that out of wax. There's no problem at all. The way maybe you melt it underwater, as I said. So I'm not going to go into these because I don't believe. I appreciate the effort, right? But I don't believe any of these. Why would I? And people say this is a cave. For instance, even if this is organic and this is natural and I'm completely wrong, you just get a rock, some kind of rock you got from somewhere that looks a certain way, okay? File it a little bit or change it or use some plaster of Paris or something, some plaster, and then you've got a little diorama and you put an egg in it. The hilarious thing is these are eggs. What they should have done is they should have put a little dragon in here or something, right? So yeah, I'm not going to go on about that, but let's just go back. I do have some more information from Claude, as you can read on screen. This is more technical stuff, which it's stating. Of course, the AI gets things wrong. I put the information in there. Night vision technology issues. Professional night vision, like those on a helicopter, use image intensification that amplifies available light. The resulting image should be more nuanced, showing variations in green tones rather than this uniform bright green. And that's what it is, right? It's just a bright uniform green instead of this color, which of course you're getting in those videos regarding the Australian operations there. You're getting this versus this. Look how diffused this is, and like it's got these little sparkles and all these artifacts all over it. You're looking for artifacts, right? You're looking for reasons things are there, because the natural world and the way that things work is full of artifacts. If anybody's used film before, actual film on a camera, like a big film camera, you look at the film that comes out, it catches all the dust. I mean, you look at old technology of the 70s, because people don't really see film, right? You're not going to take your film out of that camera and put it in the movie theater. That's not the way that movies work. That master goes to the studio and they make 1 million copies of it and everything looks okay. The original masters look incredible. They're like 8K or 12K or whatever the comparison would be today. But anyway, so here we are. Let's go through some more very quickly. The footage shows none of the characteristics blooming or haloing effect when bright light sources are present. And that's what I'm talking about. This is a bright light source. But doesn't this kind of blinding in And like night vision, isn't it kind of blinding and stuff? Again, I mean, it's just, I feel like I'm crazy in this world sometimes. Am I a lunatic? Okay, am I playing with the crayons again in the insane asylum? You know, and it's just, well, you might ask, why do this? Well, look at the distractions you need to pull off all these things. All these things lately. Okay, they know the construct of, when people use Google or YouTube, they have a matrices of people that are using that and all their attention span depending upon different videos and also all their search history. They know that these people are responsible for boosting a signal or removing it as a whole, right? If you're looking at the entire spectrum of it, the entire entity. Oh, all you have to do is adjust that and use up their time and allotments, and you can change the way that a signal might be boosted in the coming, whenever. It's basically you're killing a signal or highlighting it, right? So, hey, the egg video dropped. What's the next one? What's the next video? Okay, the whatever, the egg or the whatever, or whatever the case is. And meanwhile, what goes through? Huge things. Right now it's like mRNA City, right? $500 billion on that, or there's Bilderberg, so people are less likely to share the Bilderberg videos because they're looking at the UFO stuff. When was the last time you checked into Bilderberg? Over in Davos right now. Right, you got the UFO stuff. You got the whistleblower. I'm not saying they're making it up. They could all be truthful. They could have no connection to this video. This video could have been put out in order to taint the water on the testimony from the so-called whistleblowers. It's complicated, right? Let's keep on going. Shadow and lighting problems. The shadows cast by the top object are too defined. That's what I said. Night vision doesn't create sharp shadows since it's amplifying ambient light. The presence of distant shadows suggests a strong light source, which would make night vision unnecessary and likely ineffective, right? If you're blasted with light, it's not very good or useful anymore. I believe it blows out the night vision. Am I incorrect about that? I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure if you have a light source, it blasts it out. And this is definitely some type of light source. You can see the distribution of the light, which gets, less as it moves outwards, right? So you've got a spotlight effect right here. This is definitely the way it is. Well, that's what I think it is anyway. Clear cable visibility. A cable 150 feet below the helicopter should show more movement, vibration. Who knows about this kinds of stuff? It's largely guesswork, I would say. But, you can take these criticisms, you can analyze them, you can come to your own theories, do your own research on it. The shadows cast by the top object too defined. Okay, here's some other ones, some more technical stuff. Military aviation equipment vision uses Gen 3, Gen 4 image intensifying tubes that amplify existing light thousands of times. This creates a characteristics green phosphor display with subtle gradients, visible noise grain patterns from electron amplification, and that's what you're seeing here with these little dots, I believe, right? These little dots are that, which you are not seeing here at all. And again, this would be something you could forensically look at and say, where is that? If that's not there, what kind of technology is this? Is it magic technology? Maybe. Right? Motion blur due to phosphorus presence, blooming when bright lights appear. Again, where's the blooming there? The footage lacks all the characteristics. The green is too uniform and artificial looking. Again, what I did is I put in images and said this was the footage. It didn't review the footage. I'm not sure it can actually review the footage, but you're just reviewing the frames, which is the same thing, right? Real night vision footage should show varying intensity based on available light, speckling, noise patterns. That's what it's called, speckling, right? Yeah, that's what we're looking for in this, which is the speckling pattern, which you can see there on the actual left, that little speckling stuff. Again, not there at all, okay? So we come back to here. Varying intensity, edge softening at a distance, slow motion artifacts, strong, yes, I remember those slow motion artifacts, right? If someone moves too fast, there is that delay. Strong light would overwhelm night vision sensors. That's what I thought. Okay, I haven't read all of this. I got the screen captures and threw it together. Just wanted to tell you my opinion and show you some information. But yeah, strong light source would blow it out, right? So why can you see it there? Again, this, I mean, just take the information, you look at it and decide for yourselves. Where is the validity? Why would we believe it? There's no chain of custody. There's no one attached to it. There's nowhere to source it from. It's just anonymous video. That's why I always say it's largely meaningless. And every time I look into this stuff, I find the same scenarios, right? I find the same scenarios. I actually think this is actually becoming hilarious. I don't know who went out to their fridge, got their egg. Maybe it's even a boiled egg. They might have removed the shell, actually. You get a lot of reflection on that egg. They got the egg. They put some string around it from their wife's sewing kit. Is that sexist to say? I mean, I've got two sisters, all of them sew, so... My mum used to sew my own clothes, okay? I used to go to school and I never looked like I actually, all my clothes were made by my mum. Looking back, obviously, I'm grateful for that, but, you get your mum's sewing kit, you got your needles, you got a little thing there, and now you're flying around your egg, and then now millions of people are looking at it and analysing it. And sadly, people are spending their time on it. I shouldn't be spending my time on it. But I am curious about these things, and I like to look a little bit deeper, and that's what happens. Anyway, that's what it is, and that's it for this video. Of course, I might delete the other video. The reason why I might delete the other video and just put this link into this one is obviously the other one, the sound is just, it's gone, right? The sound is gone on the other video. I recorded it while I had a fan going on my face while I was talking into the microphone, and of course that isn't optimal for it, but you can see everyone on the internet is talking about it anyway. There's the egg. For those details that are in the other video, the mirror covering it. What was that other one? I don't have the other one, I don't think. No, I don't have the other one. It doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter, does it? Oh, there's Newsweek anyway covering the egg as well, except they're covering the 4chan one. And there are some of the pictures from 4chan, since I'm going to delete the other video. These are the stuff that appeared on 4chan. I believe all these are largely just manufactured, okay? There's nothing in these that will make you believe that. I mean, I could create them. Maybe I should. Maybe I should start creating stuff. And it seems if you manufacture stuff and you make it up and you talk about planes going through portals or something, and these are real, and when you talk about this, you get hundreds of thousands of views, right? You get pumped up on Twitter, right? You get all these tens of thousands of views. I looked at my subscriber count, I lost another 100 this month, just continuously goes down. But I'm not going to start making fake stuff, okay? I'm going to make fake stuff. I'll make it in my novels, okay? People want to do this in their spare time. I can understand it. It's actually hilarious, okay? I mean, I'm not taking the brakes off anyone. If you do that and you get this far, then it's other people, right? It's like the other people should have like more critical thinking skills, right? If you think the okay symbol is just suddenly turned into a hate symbol and the entire media mimics it, then it shows you the quality of the media, which is just it's irrelevant really in order to gauge any type of measurement of reality at all, right? The media is irrelevant, right, when it does that. When it takes this okay symbol and then suddenly turns it into a hate symbol, and then the media is just a ridiculous parody of some kind of clown show. So I don't mind it. And if people want to believe that's a giant egg-shaped UFO, then, get the Mulder poster out. I want to believe too. I just probably don't want to believe that hard, right? What I want is actual representation of reality, right? Anyway, pixel to video assure by 99% that those photos of this egg are real, they say, and they were analyzing this particular video. They state they analyzed videos for fun, seeing some UAP stuff and things like that. It was fine. What I would point out, though, and this isn't a criticism of them, but who's arguing that they aren't real? I can get a diorama and put an egg there and some wax. That's real. I can take a real photo of that. If I was going to fake it, and I'm going to reiterate what I said in the last video, maybe it'll give someone some ideas out there. If I see them just repeat this, it'll actually be hilarious. What I would do Just throwing some ideas out here to kind of like, bring up the scale a little bit on this operation. What I would do is I would get a TV, an old TV, preferably a CRT, something with some lines and scan lines on it, right? I'll get an old video camera. I've gone through this before, but in another video I talked about you'd put it in the loft and record it with actual aged equipment that you bought at some kind of auction like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, right? There's no way to trace that then if you're using like film from the 1970s. But what I would do is I'd get my film from a Super 8 or whatever the case is. It's genuine, it's all real, it's all legit. You can get this kind of stuff off eBay. I get my Super 8 and I'm recording something off an old CRT, from the 1970s. And what it is like a CRT, and you've got some equipment there and a window and all this kind of stuff like this. And it's like you got some, you get like a projection screen, a rear projection screen for outside the window. You can actually make something like that. What you're doing is you're recording it to make it look like you're recording video off another screen, like a CRT of an alien kind of removal of an object. But what you're doing is you're creating a contrast between the 70s technology and the CGI, which you're piping in through that CRT TV right behind it. Right? You run all this, you pipe it in. And you've got a literal, really high quality, not high quality, but it's projecting it out on the screen. You're recording it on Super 8. You probably don't use Super 8. Use like an old mid-1980s video camera, some kind of saying that records on VCR. And again, you can buy the original VCR tapes. You won't want to give these to a forensic specialist because they'll probably be able to tell. I'm assuming that the the data that's on the magnetic tape degrades at a certain rate, which a forensic expert could probably kind of measure. So you're never giving up the originals, but you never need to, right? Because they never really ask you to. They always believe it. So then we record that off the screen, right? It looks great footage, and you're saying, well, it was in my grandpa's attic's probably not going to work. You gotta pad it out a bit more. Well, we just bought this house over blah blah blah, which isn't far from this military base, okay, or whatever. You can work out and you say, we just built this house and we found this in the basement. And it turns out the house was owned by an old military general, okay, that passed away like 15 years ago. It was actually my sister's brother-in-law used to play bridge with him. And, and underneath there, we found this hidden in the thing. And we found some other stuff there, but we're not going to talk about those other stuff yet. You've got to leave the story open so you can open it up later, right? There's some other stuff in there. We did find this gun, right? But what we did is you've got to add this to. We made sure it wasn't loaded and stuff like that, and it wasn't loaded, and we turned that into law enforcement. But the tapes, this is what we found on the tapes. Okay, there you go, man. From that you've got books, right? Every book you write a non-fiction book about that, and the other video you happen to have but you're not releasing yet. Okay, Media Storm. You've got the whole internet on your thing. YouTube channel's now got 1 million views, and you're just walking your dog and talking about when you're going to release these other videos. Okay, if you're going to do it, create more of a story out of it so we get to follow it like an old-fashioned serial, right? First, you got the tapes, and then next month you might release the other tapes, but you don't know because you don't want to get in trouble because it might be classified, because these are military tapes or something the general recorded, but he might not have been able to do that or supposed to do it, right? That's what you do, right? And you got more tapes. Maybe there was a dozen tapes, but you're releasing this one. You just want to see, right? You have to talk to people to see anyway, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. I'm just saying, up the game a little bit. Anyway, I'll see you all later.